Brent, are we recording? Yes. Okay. Welcome everybody to a special called meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. This is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Glad you're here. We're going to start the meeting with a quick Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Southern.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Magistrate Tompkins.
Here.
Okay, Magistrates Putman and Starks are both absent today.
Okay, guys. Taylor, thanks for calling in, and thanks for helping us with this special called meeting. We're going to start with a quick visit from representatives of National Grid Renewables who are working on the Unbridled Solar Project, and I'll ask Steve Ferguson and Nick Stallings to come on up to the mic. We met a couple of weeks ago with Steve and his team members talking about safety challenges and some things that are happening on the roads near the construction side, and one of the things that was mentioned that might help is a temporary reduction of the speed limit in the construction zones that you have out there. Is that correct, Steve?
That's exactly right.
Anything you'd like to add to that characterization?
No, I think you covered all the bases. The reduction of speed limit will make it much safer for the driving public as well as all the people on our project site.
And you'd like to reduce the speed limit from 55, which is the standard for all unmarked roads in Kentucky County roads, down to what speed limit?
35.
35 miles an hour. So a reduction of 20 miles an hour temporarily. And I'm going to ask County Engineer Nick Stallings, you had a recommendation on where the temporary speed limit reduction should happen and how we monitor that.
So what we would do to make this as a work zone is I'm going to take their aerial map, which is the disturb limits, where do they cross the roads, where they're actually going to enter the roads. From the last point of every road they enter, 500 feet beyond that point will be the condition of the temporary roadway. So as you're coming up Pat McDonald, you're on a 55-mile section, you'll have a sign that says 35 miles an hour ahead. You'll have that warning sign, and you have a 35 mile an hour limit. Then that way everybody knows beyond that is 35 miles an hour until you get to the end of construction. At the end of construction sign, which is 500 feet beyond the edge of their work zone, it'll say end 35 miles an hour. It'll be that on all roads, coal mine, on Novlik, on all county roads. They're not state roads, county roads. So it'll be there on Taylor McDonald, and it'll be on W.T. Royster, a lot of those roads, O.R. Royster, any road that they're working on now, it would be those speed limits.
And that's to make sure that everybody stays safe in work zones, doesn't go too fast. So for both the drivers and the construction teams, this will be a good thing to do.
Yes.
And as I hear you describe it, we're going to send up one zone for a temporary speed limit reduction, leave it that covers enough of the area that we won't have to move this around in the future.
No, this is small enough area that they can, because no longer 2 miles in each direction, they can go and put the speed limit zones up, work zone, speed limit ahead, the speed limit entering, and then when they leave the speed limit ends whenever they go out of the project. And there should be no problem all through there. So everybody in that work zone will be a 35 mile an hour requirement.
Do you concur with that strategy, Steve?
This one, do.
Okay. So we won't have to move it around. It'll be the area described will probably be enough to contain the work zone, and it'll just be wide enough where we don't have to move this anytime soon to another part. Okay. Double ask that again just to make sure. So having been part of the safety meeting we had, and Taylor was in that meeting too, I think this is necessary to just make sure everybody stays safe. I think we all agreed on that at that meeting. Taylor, anything you want to add?
No, I agree with everything that's said, and that includes Spencer Thornberry too, right, Nick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Okay.
Nick, did you list all the affected roads?
That's what I will. Now, I didn't list all the affected roads speakingly now, but I've got their plan, so when it goes in the minutes and it goes to our public release, it'll have all the roads from mile point to mile point, intersection to intersection. So it would be out there for everybody to be aware before the speed limit takes place.
And as we were speaking to you earlier, the process involves issuing an executive order where we can detail that as well.
Yes.
So I think for this body right now, I think we need a motion to accept the recommendation. And
So moved.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
Would that motion also include allowing the county judge executive to sign an executive order putting this into effect with the recommendation of specific affected roadways and mile points at the recommendation of the county engineer?
Taylor, would you amend your motion to that effect?
I do, sir. I
Second.
need to say it.
You have you got it. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Had
So,
Steve, go ahead.
this-
I'm sorry. Go
With
ahead.
this being a construction zone, if there's speeding tickets issued, it'd be a double fine, correct, Steve?
Yes. If there are workers present and if the sheriff or state trooper who is writing that will note in the citation that there are workers present.
Okay.
Steve, have you had a lot of problems down there? What's some of the problems you've had? Just that I know the sheriff, the sheriff's office is up here, and I just kind of want them to maybe hear what kind of problems they may already know. I just didn't
I
know.
have had some aggressive drivers and some not complimentary conversations. I don't know what's.
Yeah.
But it's been a challenge. Some people are speeding
It's
through there.
challenging. And our concern, of course, is some of the people doing flagging and most exposed to this traffic are some of the least experienced people,
Right.
working out for a summer job, or single moms, or people that I'm sure hate to see somebody get hurt.
Yeah, understood. Okay, any other
Thank you.
questions? Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
Aye.
and I will vote aye for the record. Any opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, guys. Keep up the good work, and we will get that set up as quickly as we can. Next, we have Treasurer Brenda Ryder. And we wanted to, just so you know, we wanted to take care of this financial business today.
Thank you.
And we will be taking care of the rest of the agenda that was normally going to be handled this morning on Friday at a special called meeting at 9:30. But for various logistics purposes, we're covering our financial requirements today. So with that, Treasurer Ryder, I'll turn it over to you.
This is the second reading of budget amendment number 4 for the current fiscal year. Amending into the current fiscal year budget unbudgeted receipts into the general fund of $647,603.97. The breakdown for this is $47,603.97 into miscellaneous payments revenue line, which is for the reimbursement of the clerk's cybersecurity fraud funds that were recouped. The corresponding appropriation line is election supplies. $600,000 prior year surplus and corresponding appropriation line is the transfers of appropriations to other funds. This is necessary to be transferred to the Employee Health Insurance Fund and to keep this fund in the positive through the end of this fiscal year.
I have a motion to accept second reading of that amendment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Treasurer Ryder on this one? All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
Aye.
and I'll vote aye as well. Thank you. Next.
You have received the transfers and they are as presented. This is redistributing appropriations within the existing year budget, and these are necessary as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year to keep all appropriation lines in the positive.
We're able to find these funds out of our auditing line item because we are basically paid up for the year in auditing expenses, so easy place to move some money around, folks. Any other questions about transfers? Motion to accept.
Motion to accept transfers.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
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 and I'll vote aye for the record. Thank you. Next.
You have received your claims and your bank balances. After paying claims today, your day-to-day appropriation line should be at approximately 83%. I do have additional claims from the general fund to Acme Sports, $1,784. This is for sheriff supplies, ammunition, and is to come from the ammunition appropriation line. To Randy Tassa, $524.25. This is for training reimbursement expense and is to come from the building inspector training travel appropriation line. To Magistrate Putman in the amount of $5,152.68. This is for the 2024 training incentive and is to come from the Fiscal Court training incentive appropriation line. To Roy Hunter CPA, PLLC, $19,900. This is for the fiscal year 23 fiscal court audit and is to come from the auditing appropriation line. From the jail fund to Republic Service, $999.76. This is for monthly service and is to come from the contracted services appropriation line.
And I believe, looking at the summary you issued last week, general fund expenses are still under 70%, if I'm not
Approximately
mistaken.
67.
So that's really good, and I think all the departments are under budget so far in appropriations
Yes.
as we hit in the last 2 months. Thanks to everybody involved. So you've heard the claims. Any questions about claims?
I move to pay the claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 I'll vote aye for the record. Any opposed? Okay, thank
Thank
you. And thanks again, Taylor, for zooming in. And we will meet again 2:30 on Friday to take care of the rest, 9:30 on Friday to take care of the rest of our business right here in the fiscal courtroom. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor can leave, including Taylor, our friend in Virginia.